Today what I want to do is share a few projects that can hone your skills in bushcraft even further. These here are a few other notches, and these projects will come in handy if you're in the bush or in other areas that you may want to use them. Now these projects also you can do in your backyard, at home, in camp, wherever you like, because all it's going to be is just using a stick. Now I've chose two tools for this. I chose a folding saw and my knife. That's what I'm going to use to do these projects. So I'm going to go and cut myself a stick and we'll get down to it. So I walked around until I found a good solid base, because a lot of times when you're cutting your notches and such, you're going to want to be able to press hard into the wood, and holding it up like this can cause an accident, or you just won't get that pressure. So being able to place it on a firm area can help. Now what I want to do is show you the basic groove for a type of pot holder. The last stake that I made in part 3 can also be used as a pot holder. I'm going to go over that again quickly just to show you up close how you do it a little bit more clear possibly. And I think it's a good skill to know, because there are a couple tricks. What we're going to do first is we're going to start with a saw. Now if I have another piece of wood, I can put my saw, or I can put my knife, not my saw, on top like this at your angle, and then here you want to put an X across this like this, and take the piece of wood and tap it down in to get my X that I want. Now you go down to about halfway. You can go a little further or you can go a little less. It's according on what pot you're going to hang. But I want to tell you a little trick also when you're trying to start your saw. By pushing like this, a lot of times it will just go off. A good trick is to set it on there and pull back. Go back out, pull back. That there will get it started a lot of times. Otherwise, your saw can go all over the place. When I was doing that stake, you seen that when I pushed forward, it was just going off. So you just put it on there and draw back until you get it started, and then you can saw. That's a good little trick, and it works most of the time. So I'm going to saw this in here. Now this side here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull back like this to start it. And now I have an X. Although, I just wanted to show you how I was going to do that. This spot right where I'm at is 2 knots. It's not going to be any good. So I'm going to saw this off. And I'm going to zoom in and show you what I'm talking about. Now if I just push in like this one's actually cutting pretty good. But it's cording on your wood. But I'm going to saw across here like this. And now I want to saw the other way. So I have an X like that. Now that I have that X in here, I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to come up above all that and cut down to this bottom V. Now right here is that bottom V. So I want to bring this down like this and cut all that out. So you can see I'm left with this V up top. Now I want to make that a little bit more shallow, so I'm going to keep going like this. And now you can see how that is like that and how it's like that. Now what I want to do is I'm going to start cutting in underneath like this here on both sides. So I'm going to cut down this way and cut it out. Straight down again. Same thing as this side. And you see what happens, it starts forming underneath this groove. Now I can go straight down in as well, in through here. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting in underneath the V, so it makes a spot, a groove, for your pot handle to go in. Now that looks pretty simple. Although, if you don't have proper knife control and just pushing in just enough to cut that out, you can push down and the whole thing pop off. With that popped off like that, it's no good. You have to start over again. So you only push hard enough and cut those out just enough to remove the wood. Now that there, like I said, it's the same way you make the last tent stake I made in part 3. So that joint right there, or that notch, can help in many different situations. Now what I want to do is just show you a classic 7 notch. Now a 7 notch is a simple notch, but can be used in many ways as well. It's used for trap triggers, and it's used for also stakes. It's used in many different areas. So I'm going to show you that. It's a very simple one as well. So I'm going to cut this off. We're going to start into that. So I've sawed that off, and now what I'm going to do is just saw down. Now you can put this any depth you like. It's according on how deep you want your notch. I went about halfway through or close to it, and that will work fine. I just cut straight 90 degrees into it. That's how you start this notch. Now what I'm going to do is take my knife, and I'm going to cut down to that notch. And I want to go easy with this, because what I just showed you in the other notch, if you push too hard, you're taking off this whole end. So you've got to just go down and stop right where this cut is. Otherwise, you're going to knock that right off and you're going to ruin your notch. Now you just seen me doing that, and a couple times I've fetched up, so I had to push a little harder to cut through. That is the dangerous area, when you can push and it let go and take this off. That is where it's good to put this on something solid. Then I can push down to it, and I have more knife control. And I'm not pushing really hard and it's slipping and such. I have a lot more control. I can use my thumb lever here as well. And right there is your number 7 notch. Now what I want to show you is a notch that is used to take out a square piece out of a piece of wood. This is used for many different applications. You can take two sticks, take the notch out, and you give them a flat spot to bind them with cordage so they're not rolling around as in if they're just round like this. So what you're going to want to do is two 90-degree cuts right across like this. And then you're going to cut this out and make it flat inside. So I cut this off and recut those in with the saw. Now I want to take my knife, I'm going to plant this in against this tree, and I just want to cut down. I want to do the same thing, make sure I don't push too hard and pop that off. So I'm just going to go down this way here to the bottom of my cut that I made with the saw. I've got that cut right down to that. Now I can go way up here as well and make that even more shallow. And then I can go to the other side and just start trimming that out. It's easier if you have a longer handle to hang on to here. Sometimes the job you're doing, you don't always get that. So you have to work with safety in mind. And just go nice and easy. So now I've got that down on this side as well. I can flip it back over where I have more control, and I can take this section out. Always think of safety. And now you see I have a nice flat spot in here where I can take another piece of wood, throw in on top of this that has the same type of notch, and then bind them together. So these here were just a few notches that can come handy in bushcrafting, and I use them a lot. Now by using these and practicing these, you can hone your skills with using a saw and a knife. I recently have found out about a craft or project called the Tri-Stick. It's presented by Morris Kohansky, and it is a stick that you carve all these notches into. So that there can actually help as well build your skills with using a knife and a saw. So you can check into that as well if you like, but just doing a few little projects like this can hone your skills with using a knife and such. Do your research, that will help a lot, and try different things in practice. Thanks a lot, and there will be a part 5. Take care.